Hello, welcome to Read, Rant, Repeat, the show where we meet to discuss, dissect, and theorize about the current reads of the Bookmark Besties Book Club. I'm your host, Megan, and for this week's book club meeting, Arian and I are discussing chapters 1 through 20 of Mate by Ali Hazelwood. If you're not up to speed yet, to avoid spoilers, check out our recent episodes and read along to join the discussion. Now let's get into it. Welcome to the club.
All right. Okay. So this week we read Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which is the companion to Bride, and it follows Serena and Cohen. I think that's how you say
Yes.
his name.
Yeah,
And we read through chapters 1 through 20.
would you say that you have to read you have to read Bride in order to understand this, do you think? No.
Think so. I feel like it would kind of help like knowing like the relationship between Misery and like also the little girl.
Yeah.
Anna. I feel like it would help you like understand that, but I don't think you need it because I feel like you learn more of the Wolfie dynamics in this one, so it's not like there's any. Whereas
Yeah.
like the other one's more like, yeah, I don't think you need to read it.
Yeah, I think that it would definitely like certain references would make a lot more sense, but I think you're right. You don't necessarily have to.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's go. I'm excited to talk about it.
Okay, so first off, how are you liking it?
I actually am really enjoying it so far. So as you know, I don't have a ton of like werewolf literature exposure. Um, but I'm really into it, turns out. Cuz I'm like I had to stop myself from reading too far, like going ahead because it was so good. And I at first wasn't sure how I felt about the dynamic of like Cohen's character because he's so like kind of asshole-ish, but I actually really like it and I don't know. I just was
Mm-hmm.
blowing through it. So, what about you?
Uh, I really like it. I like it because it's not like too much like the other one, but also like you have her good witty writing, and she made them both witty without making them seem just like the previous relationship,
That's true. It doesn't feel like
like
the same person, just written with a different name.
yeah, yeah, and I like how she's a liar.
Yeah, me
Like
too.
I just I think it's like a funny little like personality thing where, you know, like you always want the main character to be this very like good, wholesome person.
Yeah.
But she's like, I'm gonna keep things for people.
I'm a chronic liar,
Like,
actually.
yeah, chronic liar, but it's to protect everyone else because I'd rather not tell them about all my hardships.
Yeah. Yep. Um, what about what do you think about Cohen? Like, do you like more of a low like guy or Cohen? Like,
I liked Low better, I
do
think.
you?
Just because he's a little more like sweet. And like, but I do like Cohen, but he's also not like, I don't like when someone's overly an asshole. Then I'm just like,
That was
you
my
actually
first.
like me.
Yeah, that was my first feeling too. Is I was like, okay, I do love like a kind of just assholey guy, but he felt almost too assholey. But now
Hmm.
but as the farther we go, the more I'm like, okay, I kind of like him. What does that say
Alrighty,
about
that's
me?
alright. Okay, so we started off with the prologue, and it was kind of like a little child being taken away from like a bad situation.
Yeah.
And so I assumed immediately it was Serena. And so then I was like, this is going to be finding out more about her life. So then we go through the prologue and we end up like where she lives in a cabin out in the woods, but she's coming to be picked up by Cohen and gets attacked.
Right. By Bob. What was that? Was that his name?
Bob. Yeah.
No, I was thinking back to the prologue when I finished up this reading, and that just like, do you have any suspicions about that? Because that feels like so far we haven't even circled back to that at all. Like, haven't really hinted much at it. So it just feels like kind of out of left field. I'm sure that we'll get some sort of answers, but what do you think?
I didn't really know how to take it. I was just like, okay, this was my immediate thought when I was reading it. I was like, the person who like came and saved her better not be Cohen. I
Yeah,
mean, like,
right?
yeah, whatever age difference, fine, but like, I don't know, like,
Yep.
I just feel like that's like tying a ribbon around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. No, because I had the same
So,
thought, and I was like, because I keep, yeah, like I kept thinking back to it to try to make sense of it because it was just like a little snippet and we don't have any context yet. But now, if based on what little we do know, it seems like, okay, maybe the little girl was Serena, maybe the where that was like the guy or whatever that was killed was her dad. Her mom was downstairs, like I think if I'm remembering the scene. And then yeah, I had the same thought. I was like, if this is Cohen, it would feel I don't know. I feel like it would feel a little weird because he's like a grown man and that
yeah.
was a baby. And if he interacted with her as a child, I feel like that would make it feel weird.
Yeah, that's how I thought too. I was like, this is very Renesmee or whatever, like imprinting on.
You're right. You're very right. What do you think? Okay,
So that's that.
it brings up a good point though. Do you think that if it was Cohen, like it couldn't be him because if it was, he would have known she was his mate? Do you think? Do you think it would happen that young? Or is that
No,
that gives me a little hope that maybe it
I
wasn't
feel
him.
like, but then I feel like I really hope it's not.
Yeah, me too.
Because yuck. I mean, I know it's not like, I mean, maybe they don't imprint on like when they're adolescent, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, true. Maybe
or whatever it is.
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
That
We'll
it just
see.
feels that feels icky. I hope she didn't do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was my immediate thought. I was just like,
Me too.
let's see what else.
We had some time skipping, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. Like they did like some from like her having like the interview of like being a hybrid pretty much.
Hmm.
And like from before she was at the cabin to like then she was at the cabin and then stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you
Which
like the time skipping? Does that ever confuse you?
yeah, I don't really know. Well, sorry, it's like hard to I don't mind it in other books. Maybe I don't notice it as much to like think about it or like think of one that's like, oh yeah, this one had time skipping. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I for some reason in these books it's so jarring for me.
Yeah.
Like they like bring it back and then it's just like a bunch of like little like banter, which sometimes is fun, but I'm like, no, just give us the little snippet we need and then let's go back to where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Don't don't just sit here and ugh, I hate that.
Yeah, it kind of makes me wonder. I get it's just a choice. It's just a choice how you write, but I'm like, why
Yeah.
what led you to the decision to do this kind of time jumping versus just telling the story in order? Because the time isn't very much. Like it's not like it was 10 years ago,
Mm-mm.
or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
you could have started with where the first book ended and then just told the story chronologically, and I don't think it would have
Yeah.
made much of a difference.
Because she could have, like, if you're already time jumping, you could just have it of like her going into the cabin and then like skipping ahead, like, oh, then Bob and then
Yeah,
this. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be all these. It just seems weird.
yeah, I agree.
Maybe not my favorite. So he goes and gets her. Yeah, because then it's like 2.5 months earlier, 4 months earlier.
Yeah,
And then it's kind of like, so we started at present, and then it's like 6 months, and then 4 months, and then 2 months. And I'm like, you could have just gone in order.
right.
And like, to me, it didn't like super matter because like those previous months, it was just pretty much like showing how her, how dangerous it is for her right now,
Yeah.
like after coming forward.
Well, and we're getting hints along the way of like, okay, she's sick. There's something wrong. We don't really know what that is. But then, so we learn that she hasn't been able to shift basically since the incident at the nest, right? From the previous book, just about that time.
Yeah.
She hasn't been able to shift. She hasn't. she's been getting sick, then she's seeing a doctor. So we're like getting some of this like tidbits throughout it. So I guess the
Yeah.
purpose of the time skip is like to keep us guessing for a little bit longer, but that seems to be the okay, did I understand correctly that the choice for her to go to the cabin was to protect Anna because of this disease she has? She's afraid that she would like sleepwalk and get aggressive and kill her basically, right?
Yeah.
So she's trying to
That's what I was
isolate
thinking.
herself.
And at first I was thinking if we want to go into these things she's having. Do you want to get into those
Yeah,
or
let's do
should
it.
we? Okay. So at first I was thinking like, oh, she's sick. What's going on? But then, but then when she's talking about them happening, let me go through. When she's talking about them, she's like hears and sees like Cohen or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's part of her frenzy. And I'm like, I've read enough wolf books
Tell me because
to
I
be like,
haven't.
she's going, I was like, she's going into heat because you know what I mean? Like, so she's like, oh, compatible person.
Okay.
Heat. Cause like that's in, cause like what other books is that in? It was in, I'm trying to think, but you know, they go through a heat and like usually in like those books, they're like, oh, we have to like isolate for like a week while we mate for through your heat. I'll be there to help you through it. You know what I mean?
Okay,
It's like
wait.
in
So,
so many different wolf books.
okay, that's good to know. Because okay, I get it. I mean I mean that I know what heat is, not in the context of werewolf books, but um
Yeah.
so are you saying that there could be a chance that so we learn through what's been happening so far is that she has been diagnosed with cortisol surge disorder, which is apparently shortening her lifespan. Like they don't think she's going to live very long. Are you saying that you think that it's basically a misdiagnosis and that all of these things that are coming up like are actually just her going into heat?
I think so.
Oh,
I mean, it would be really weird for them to like mistake that though. So that's why I'm kind of
yeah.
like, maybe not, but like
Maybe that's part of it at
I
least.
was just like if in those tidbits she didn't mention him and stuff, you
Yeah.
know, like I wouldn't think anything of it. But like because there's hints of that and I don't
Well,
know.
you're okay,
I've
yeah.
got to like
So
go find
you
it.
said that so this started or she tells Cohen that this started right around the time that she met him, right? It was like shortly after she met him that she was no longer able to shift. And then she did say,
Hmm.
yeah, that she was basically having like sex dreams. And then yeah, would have her like fever symptoms. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it is. But it
That's what I was thinking. And then but then I was like, why would they diagnose her something else? But then also I'm like, but she is a hybrid. So I'm like,
yeah.
maybe it looks different or like maybe they don't totally have a whole bunch of
You know,
knowledge about them
it
yet.
just popped into my head. Do you think it would do you
Hmm.
think they would be like, "Oh, because she's a hybrid, right? It's a little bit different." So, do you think it's going to be like they'll realize, "Oh, you're going into heat and the only way to and the only way to stave off the cortisol surge disorder is that they're going to have a bunch of sex in order to reduce her cortisol?"
Me, I bet. I feel like that's all it's gonna have to happen.
Oh, the only cure is you're going to have to bang it out on the
You're gonna have
reg.
to. I'm sorry. If you want to get through this. So she moves into Cohen's cabin because she wants to stay far enough away from Anna that they're not together because she's worried about Anna's safety.
Mhm.
So then she becomes part of Cohen's group.
Yep.
Um,
And she does actually, like, switch to his pack, right? Like, she
yeah,
changes her allegiance, I guess.
yeah, yeah. So like the first part starts with like, you know, pleasure and stuff like that.
Right. And I guess I forgot that like it said that this is kind of the cadence of her episodes is that it starts with basically a sex dream, and then when she wakes up, then she physically spirals into pain and nausea and fever.
But so then, like, that's what I was thinking is like, it's probably like some heat thing. And like, then I was like, oh, it's gonna be some heat thing. And then he has to help her through it. And then they realize their love for each other, you know?
Right. You're right. Okay. Do you think so? The other thing that we learn is the reason behind why Cohen doesn't want to doesn't want to be with her, quote unquote, is that he can't be with her because he took a vow of celibacy, which is, I
Yeah.
guess, it's like an older practice, but some packs do it and some don't. But when he took over this as alpha of this pack, he swore the celibacy covenant. And so clearly they're going to have to address that in some way because he's not going to stay away from her. Um,
No.
uh,
With how these books are, something's gonna happen and he's gonna be like, no,
do you think he's,
I'm the leader or
yeah,
something
screw you
or
guys.
whatever. I
So,
I do what I want.
do you think that, how do you think that's going to happen? Do you think he's going to be like, fuck it and just do it and then deal with the consequences? Or do you think that he's going to stick it to the assembly? Was that what they were called? Yeah.
Yeah, the assembly. I think he's going to. I think he's just gonna do it. It's gonna have be something with her heat, her wolfy heat, and he's just gonna do it. And then he's gonna be like, whatever, I'll deal with the consequences.
It does very much seem like the kind of guy he is. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so towards the end of this section, they've introduced kind of a different problem that I was like, whoa, this seems a little bit out of left field. They introduced a cult. So now we're not only dealing with like Serena's illness, but and then Cohen's like vow of celibacy, but now we're also dealing with a cult, which I assume is going to take us back to Serena's parentage. I assume it's going to come full circle. So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, what do you think about this cult and this guy, this
I was just like,
kid?
so we're already worrying about like her getting murdered by some random vampires and stuff, and then now we're introducing a cult to the mess, and it's just like, I'm just like, well, it's kind of a lot.
It seems like a lot
Random.
of moving pieces.
Mm-hmm. Like I feel like maybe I don't know if she knew she was gonna write this book, but like maybe she could have sprinkled in a little bit of some of that in the first one,
Yeah.
you know, or not waited till like way later in the like what middle of the book or something.
So my thought process is it's got to be connected, right? Because like otherwise you're not gonna like add all of these different moving pieces they're without them being relevant. Um,
Yeah,
so I'm trying to picture me as that guy with the red string, right? I'm trying to
yeah, Charlie Day.
yeah, yeah, connect the pieces here. So we have Serena who's an orphan. We have this little blurb of her
Hmm.
being rescued as a baby. We don't know who her mom is, but we suspect that she was from the Northwest Pack or an area around that. But we do know her mom was human and that her dad
Yeah,
was the wear. That was confirmed. Her dad is we saw in this flashback was like a no good like drunk or whatever.
yeah,
And then the dad was like not maybe the cult leader. I don't know. Like someone in the cult. Um, but I don't know. What do you think? I'm not making any sense.
I don't know because it's so like it just seems so random, like a cult,
Right.
but yeah, like well, obviously attached to her, or else they wouldn't bother bringing it up.
Right.
So she's gonna be the kid of someone from the
Do you think
cult.
like this area that she was like found in was like, because usually cults involve like drugs of some kind, right? I just think like, do you think that the flash or the prologue, the kind of flashback that was in the prologue was like her in this like cult den or whatever, and that the guy that's her dad was maybe like the cult leader getting killed, and then her mom was one of the women? Because I assume it was like a guy with a bunch of women. That's usually how the cults go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So
usually how they are.
yeah, maybe she was like the child of one of those interactions, and her mom was like whatever, just some human woman like in this cult den, and then she was rescued. But then would that make it likely that it was Cohen if he was the one that overthrew this?
Wouldn't I feel like she would have if it was him, wouldn't she have stayed with others like her?
Do you think there were
I
others
guess
like
would
her?
they have known? Or like like werewolves. Like wouldn't they have kept her?
Like,
Because
because they would
then she
have
was
known
like
she
taken to the
was.
human side,
That's
right?
true. I don't know. Do you think that she was the only child? Do you think there are others from that?
Oh, I wonder if there are though. I
It
wonder.
muddies the water.
She's got a bunch of siblings out there.
Okay, so we're definitely gonna have to learn more about this cult, and obviously it's connected to her. So she's probably the child of a cult relationship, which is just super healthy. Add that to
Yeah.
add that to, her life story. Um, okay, and then you think she's gonna have this heat. What does that usually entail?
Lots of making the love. Lots of that.
The love making. Okay.
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know enough,
I
but I
don't
have
well,
like theory. Like I'm just like, oh, do you think she's gonna go into heat? He's gonna realize it's not cortisol surge disorder, but he doesn't even know she has that, right?
okay, so my theory with like the heat, just from all the ones I've read about this, and it's like also like vampires also do this thing like in books I've read and stuff. Um, so this is just going based off of all of them. I feel like it's gonna be like she's in just so much pain and he can't stand to see her in pain. And if I do this, it'll help you, but I'm only doing it for you and helping you within it. And then she'll be like, okay, but then they like when they're doing then she's gonna be like, no, I want this. And then they're together.
Together. But he's the one that's got to give in, right? Like she's okay with being with him. I don't know. I guess I have felt a little confused because it seems like she originally rejected him, but we know now it's because she's dying or she thinks she's dying. But now it seems like he's the one rejecting her, and we know now as well that it's because of this covenant. So, like, do you think they're both just
Yeah.
gonna be like, eh, fuck it, and then just both give in?
Hmm. I feel like he is so duty bound, he really won't want to, because he seems to be a pretty good leader.
Yeah,
And she seems like the kind of person who hates causing any sort of strife between people, that she's still not going to want to be with him and like tries to take herself out of situations because she doesn't want to make it harder.
true.
Because that's kind of how we've seen her be.
Yeah. Do you think it's like she devalues herself just because she's, kind of been that like orphan that like doesn't matter her whole life?
Probably.
It's so sad.
That's very sad. Poor
Okay,
baby Serena.
poor baby Serena. So we're gonna figure out about this cult. I feel like we're gonna find out that she's like the daughter of this cult leader or something like that.
Yeah, she's the special one.
It's was the kid saying like basically was feeling like she was, I don't know, some kind of messiah or prophesied like, what do they call her? Evie? Ellie? Something like that? Eva. So
Eva.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be they, they think she's some kind of prophesied like Messiah because she was born from this cult leader and he's the god or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And
And he's amazing for some reason.
yeah, for some reason. And then it's going to be that, yeah, she's like Jesus, werewolf Jesus. And
Werewolf Jesus.
I don't know how that's going to play into how Cohen's going to be able to be with her, but maybe maybe we'll
Yeah.
pull that off. But clearly this is like the weird graphic history that the Northwest Territory has that we're starting to get like some sort of
Little.
answers to. So that was what else happened? Did we miss? I guess they introduced her to this other doctor to maybe get other answers. That's right.
Yeah.
So Cohen is being all, you're not going to die. Like,
Yeah.
so
You're gonna be fine.
do you think they're going to, that's what's going to happen? That this Dr. Sam or whatever is going to be like, oh, I'll keep your secret. Turns out that you guys banging it out is what's saving her life. I prescribe you
Yeah, that's
more
what's gonna help you.
sex.
Yep. That's gonna help you with your werewolf mate.
And then Cohen's gonna pull some like, well, because she's a hybrid and this has never happened before, we have to make an exception to the contract or whatever,
We're
and I'm
getting rid of
saving her
this.
life.
We're going into the future. If we don't want to create another cult.
Yeah, right. Also, you weird creeps, why is it so important to you that I'm not banging?
Yeah,
What does my
literally.
sex life
It's so
have to do with
weird.
anything? You
Seriously
creepy
though.
old panel assembly.
Mind your business.
Mind your business. All right. Do we miss anything, or just want to keep reading because
That's pretty that's
I
pretty much it.
I'm enjoying it quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I was like, should we do another werewolf read? Like, do we need to just keep going on the? Is it
I love werewolf reads.
is it the Omegaverse? That's what I keep saying.
I think so.
So that's just like the werewolf lore. I'm enjoying it.
Love.
Love.
10 out of 10.
Okay. Well, that's all I have.
Me too. I mean, there's not really like stuff's happened, but not that much.
Yeah. I think we've gotten, well, and it makes sense we're halfway through the book, but we've gotten like an introduction to all of the things, and now I feel like it's going to tie up all the things. Do you
No,
think, okay,
yeah.
this is just guessing, right? But do you think that she would do a third book for this series? I mean, it doesn't seem like it would make sense because there isn't really a third character, but what do you
I
think?
don't think so. No. Maybe she'd do a different paranormal thing, but I don't
Yeah.
think she would again.
Yeah, I was like, I don't feel like there's
Like, I
really
don't know what
room
else
for
she'd.
another.
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. So if you're following along with both books, so next week we're going to continue Shield of Sparrows, chapters 31 through the end, and then we will pick up on Mate the following week, chapters 21 through the end of the book. So if you're following along with both books, join us next week for the rest of Shield of Sparrow. Otherwise, we'll see you the week after to finish up Mate. All right. See you next week. Please like, subscribe, and tune in on Wednesdays for new episodes. And check us out on YouTube for the video of this episode if you care to see our faces. We want to hear from you. Join the discussion in the comments below or join the club on Patreon to engage with other members and get exclusive benefits. How are you liking the book so far? Leave your thoughts, predictions, and theories, and you just might hear them on our next episode. Thanks for listening.